All right, let's talk about it. That one moment in a job interview that makes everyone's stomach drop. But what if I told you that by the end of this, you won't just be ready for it, you might actually look forward to it? Let's dive in.
Yep, there it is. 4 little words that can feel like the biggest test you'll ever face. You hear them, and bam, your mind just short circuits, right? It either goes totally blank or a million different thoughts start firing off at once. What do they even want to hear?
And look, if that feeling sounds familiar, you are definitely not alone. This is, hands down, the question that causes the most anxiety for people. It's just so vague, you know? It feels like this giant open-ended trap, and the pressure is just huge.
Okay, so before we get to the solution, we've got to understand the problem. To figure out the right way to answer, we first have to look at all the common pitfalls, the panic-filled responses our brains default to when we're put on the spot.
First up, you've got the resume recital, where you basically just start reading your CV out loud, line by line. Then there's the TMI trap, the overshare, where you start talking about your weekend hobbies or your dog, stuff that's totally irrelevant. And then, the absolute worst-case scenario, the deer in the headlights. You just freeze, total radio silence.
And here's the thing. Any one of those answers, it creates this super awkward start to the whole interview. It puts you on the defensive immediately, and honestly, it is so hard to claw your way back from a bad first impression.
Okay, but here's the big secret. This question, it's not a trap. It is a gift. It's the one moment where you get to grab the steering wheel and drive the conversation exactly where you want it to go. And we're going to use a super simple framework to do it.
We call it the 60-second story arc. It's a simple 4-part formula that's designed to nail the answer every single time. But the real magic here isn't just about having an answer. It's about taking total control of the narrative from the word go. All right, so how do we actually build this perfect 60-second pitch? Let's break down the 4 simple steps that make this whole formula click.
And you're going to love how easy this is to remember. It's just present, past, future, and then the bridge. That's it. Think of it like a tiny, powerful story about you that tells the interviewer everything they need to know.
Okay, step 1, the present. This is your professional headline. In one clear, confident sentence, you state who you are and what you do. Something like, "Hi, I'm Alex. I'm a digital marketer who specializes in optimizing conversion." No fluff, no jargon, just bam, this is who I am professionally.
Next up, the past. Now this is key. You are not giving your life story here. You pick one powerful experience that's super relevant to the job. And this is the game changer. You slap a number on it. You quantify that achievement to show them your real tangible value.
And let's just pause on that number for a second. That 32%, that's not just a detail, that's your proof. It takes your story from "I'm good at my job" to "here's exactly how good I am." It's concrete and it's unforgettable. All right, then you make the pivot to the future. This is where you connect the dots for them. It shows them, hey, I didn't just stumble in here. I've done my homework, I know what you're about, and I see exactly how I fit in. It proves you're interested in this job, not just any job.
And now for the final step, the secret weapon, really, the bridge. After you've told your awesome 60-second story, you don't just stop and stare at them. No way. You smoothly hand the conversation back to them with a smart, strategic question. This is how you turn a monologue into a real conversation.
Okay, so those are the 4 steps. Pretty simple, right? But now let's dig into the why. Why does this simple little structure work so ridiculously well at shaping that critical first impression?
Well, it all comes down to a massive shift in your goal. The common mistake is thinking you're supposed to tell your life story. You're not. The strategic move? Your goal is to use that minute to open very specific doors. Doors that lead right into conversations about your biggest strengths.
So you see how it all stacks up, right? The story arc gives them a perfect snapshot of who you are, it proves your value with cold, hard facts, it shows you actually care about their company, and most importantly, it lets you control that all-important first impression.
And I want you to remember something from the interviewer's perspective. Their job is tough. They might be seeing dozens of people. So when you walk in and hand them this perfect, easy-to-digest story on a silver platter, you're making their job easier. And trust me, they notice. They remember the candidates who do that.
At the end of the day, this is about more than just having a good answer. When you walk into that interview with your story arc locked and loaded, you're not just prepared, you are confident. And that confidence, it's contagious. It sets the tone for the entire rest of the interview.
So, here's your homework. Before that next big interview, actually sit down and write out your story. Present, past, future, bridge. And really think about it. When you deliver your 60-second story arc, what strategic doors are you going to choose to open?